welcome to another episode of Hotspot. As you can see, we are outside the Sir John Guy Stadium, the venue that will host the opening and closing ceremony of the Pacific Games come July. Yes, as usual, we do have a great lineup. We have in Rugby League, the SP Hunters have announced a 21-man squad for their Super Intrust Cup campaign this year. The PNG Billiards and Snooker Association will kick off their calendar with the Port Moresby Corporate Snooker Competition. And Jeremy Mogi, as usual, will join us later on during the show with a preview of round 5 of the Telikom National Soccer League. But we head straight into our program, and that is the completion of venues for the Pacific Games.
Drive golong ol semlong Port Moresby. Nami lukim desla nupla stadium ya. I local sem by take him 1.5 year long complete. Desla nupla stadium ya. You play give him contract long olya by it take him 1.5 years to complete.
Sir Michael Somare urged the Minister for Sports and National Events, Justin Tetana, to be frank on the completion of the venues. He said with 4 months remaining, there is no indication that the sites will be ready on time before the Pacific Games.
Now Minister talk or something by ready on July. Now you make a 4 moon ya. 4 moon ta solis time by this la game start. You know 1 plus something long PPA long I blow me no looky me ready yet. Me sabe. Me make him plan long 6 years ago. And me talk. That's what 6 years ago me play no been got money. Now me play working LNG come up me got money pull up for some PPA put down on ground ya. Now me play talk by me play working in the stadium. You like working stadium, plan him properly. You see present facilities, upgrade him. Now you work him the South Pacific Games. We've had South Pacific Games before in 1969, out of nothing. 69 we had the South Pacific Games. Now also na me talk. Minister, talk sabi lo mi pala, one time by inaplong by you play different passing long games ko. Because all get something ya. Swimming pool me go look him to. Nungo titing besides na natin lo Moresby ya, arema. 50 years mi stop long Port Moresby. Mi kamal sem tisa na mi stop na mi member all kita. Now something yang baino na plong hari up. Now na good plan will clarify mi plan member by sabe yes true by come up. Yes you talk by come up long July. Mi plan kita like him by come up long July. We want to promote and support you, but contract you play give him ya. We play local sem.
In response, Minister Tetana said he is updated daily on the progress and is confident that the sporting venues needed will be available for use during the Games.
I am updated on a daily basis on all venues that are going to be used for the Pacific Games. I know what is happening inside and out of all these venues. I am confident that the venues that are needed will be ready for the Pacific Games by July 4th. When the National quoted saying that some of these facilities are built in stages, that was referring to Hubert Murray Stadium. Hubert Murray Stadium will be built in stages. The first stage is having the stadiums built. They will be built and prepared and ready for Rugby Union and Rugby League. And that's very, very important. So the stages I was referring to were Hubert Murray Stadium. The second stage of Hubert Murray Stadium will be completed by the end of the year towards 2016, which will be the major stadium hosting weightlifting and many other facilities. I also want to make mention about the comments made by Sir Michael Somare, the Governor of East Sepik. With all due respects to the Governor of East Sepik, he had 2.5 years to start the Games rolling, to get the Games moving when Papua New Guinea won the bid to host the Games for 2015. His government sat on it and did nothing for 2.5 years. Our government took over the responsibility of the bid that his government won and moved with it immediately to ensure that we're hosting the Pacific Games on time, ready for July 4th, 2015 for a successful Pacific Games.
He also made it clear that the O'Neill government will do everything under their capabilities to develop the games.
The O'Neill government has made the move and has put their money where their mouth is and ensured that the games will be ready on July 4th for our Pacific nation. What we need here is everybody working together. You know, I wonder what people think when they're bad-mouthing the games all the time. What's the purpose of bad-mouthing what we are trying to achieve? This is called nation building. Do people want us and the games to fail, or do they want a successful Pacific Games? I want to make this very clear. I will not fail our country. I will not fail the Pacific Games. Our government will not fail no matter what anybody says. We are going to have one of the best games ever on July 4th here in Port Moresby to ensure that all the Pacific Island nations know who Papua New Guinea is and that we are a sporting nation that must be challenged now and into the future.
We head out for our first break for tonight. Stay with us as we have more on Hotspot. Welcome back. You're watching Hotspot. Now we take a look at our first athlete's profile for the year.
The first New Guinea Island weightlifter is Stalin Tetana from the autonomous region of Bougainville. He has been training at the High Performance Center in Port Moresby, vying for a spot in the 77-kilogram division for an entry into the PNG Games. 26-year-old Stalin Tetana is one of the raw talent weightlifters selected from the recent PNG Games in May. His talent and ability to lift was recognized since 2012 PNG Games in East New Britain. Recently, he competed at the trials. We caught up with Tetana at Hanuabada, where he resides with the Iwala family. In an interview with the EMTV Sports, he joined weightlifting as remedy after being addicted to drug and alcohol.
When something straight in making me like joining weightlifting, also me like changing me like an attitude or passion lo me. Time even stop nothing lo pleasure me man lo drink. Me one man lo smoke drug so. Time me looking also now me lo think one kind way straight but I can make him like can busy now but me lose something so. And then me making decision now me go na me join him this like game. So once me go train, me even come attending now first PNG Games been all about. And then time me looking more me been up win. And then me get up me go back to place now me think is me also me must train. And then me must train no target now lo losing this level me been stop long na tram.
Back at his homeland in Bougainville, he trains with the Halia Weightlifting Club under the watchful eyes of Coach Michael Machi.
Lo buka mi sa train lo one club lo mi playat Halia Weightlifting Club. So coach lo mi Michael Machi. I'm sa training mi play. So mi play I'm planting mangi sa train. So outlaw get ang mangi. So me one blow when I select him in America.
You like talk one name lo nara plus since you first New Guinea Island lo take part lo weightlifting like nogat lo weightlifting division nogat all New Guinea Islands na plantiam central Iluka central na sample islands na so you one plan New Guinea Island come take part.
Okay now me like acknowledge him all that's all. So me like almost train hard and then almost train base long also all I can pick him all. And then all by come and tap, now come stop, no have no stop long.
He's grateful as one of the selected players out of the many others to train outside of the autonomous region. He encourages youths and other New Guinea Islanders to train hard and join him.
And now me stop line, me train one time all. Plenty boys girls number blow nara blab, so me one soul, me mix inside long.
train one time Douglas Mea or you train lo high performance center?
Mi train now mi stop la mi train lo high performance center.
But now living here lo stop lo ano bada like time is look Steven, how do you feel, getting alone with him and sometimes do you train with Stephen Curry?
Now mi stop la ya. Sa mi stop close to lo Steven. But also mi at mi sa shame lo have lo Steven. Because mi sa got this like thinking sa Steven sa look at Steven but train lo high performance and then we can go through la house long. But time mi sa look him mi sa shame.
In the last competition trials, he competed in his respective weight category 77 kg. He snatched 90 kilograms and in the clean and jerk 110 kilograms. Stalin aims for a new target to represent PNG in the Pacific Games.
We head off for another break for tonight. Up next, we'll have a preview of round 5 of the Telikom National Soccer League. Just joined us, you're watching Hotspot. The soccer guru of the sports team, Jeremy Mogi, joins us for a preview of round 5 of the Telikom National Soccer League.
Yes, round 5 this weekend. It's going to be a blinder. You've got two Port Moresby-based matches, the first of which will see heavyweights Hekari, who have been undefeated so far. Now, they had a match against Oro FC only yesterday, 24 hours ago, in fact. And from the word that I've received, Oro could actually have done a lot better. They could have taken the lead on several occasions. Unfortunately, they weren't able to. For Hekari, they see it the opposite way around. A win. When I spoke to Jerry Allen over the weekend, a win's a win. And as much as possible, that's what they want to do, especially for the club leading towards the Oceania Champions League. Now, moving on from that, for this weekend, like I said earlier, a couple of big matches down here in Port Moresby. You do, of course, have Madang, who will be visiting. They come down and they'll be taking on Oro. Now, Madang, when I saw them play against Hekari the week before, sorry, it wasn't Hekari, it was FC Port Moresby the week before, they had to wait until the last, literally, minute of the game before they equalized 1-1. And for that, the young Madang side, which is in fact still relatively unknown, although a couple of the players there, by the end of this season, the country should be able to remember each and every one of their names. Moving on, however, they'll be taking on Oro. Now, Oro, they're coming from 2 wins on the road. The midweek game probably took a bit out of them, especially considering they took on 9-time champions Hekari. More or less, it really should be a good game. These inter-city clashes have always been very, very interesting. Oro, however, disappointing that they've lost to Hekari. They'll really come back fired up. It's what happened in the first round, and when they took on Besta. So they're gonna hope that when the Madang side comes down here onto their home turf, they'll be able to dominate them. One of the things, though, about visiting teams that come down here to Port Moresby, they actually get more support than the local boys themselves. Like, you remember when Madang took on FC Port Moresby. When FC Port Moresby scored, there was a lot of support. When Madang equalized, the crowd basically went nuts. So, to an extent, the home ground advantage isn't really there for Oro FC. Another big match is, of course, between FC Port Moresby and Hekari. Reg Davani with FC Port Moresby was very disappointed last week. Wasn't able to grab any comments from him. But team manager Rishanda Kasman said, the team has to maintain focus. And she said they've also been very positive in their approach for this season. They look forward to every game. They treat every game as it comes. And this is the big one for FC Port Moresby. Now, last year when I interviewed Jerry Allen at the start of the 2014 NSL, Jerry got up and said that FC Port Moresby would probably have been their biggest threats. However, last season, of course, FC Port Moresby did not take part in the competition. They are back here again this season. and they'll be looking to prove a point. They've only gained 2 points out of the past 4 rounds. This is the 5th round they're going into. They've yet to register a win, although I've seen them play. I do like their style. They use a lot of their width. They've got a great midfield, and of course they've got scorers up front. Hekari cannot be underestimated. A lot of clubs coming into the competition over the years have been trying to beat Hekari at their own game. FC will be no different. They're going to come out there all guns blazing, looking to take the mantle off of Hekari FC. Now, moving over in Leh, there's going to be a Leh derby between the young boys Besta and of course Leh City Dwellers. Leh City Dwellers travelled to Madang last week, had a great 1-0 victory. The captain Dabinyaba congratulated his boys. He said they'd done a really good job in that particular match over there. The Leh derby is always interesting. It's similar to the Port Moresby games, except you see with Port Moresby there are a lot more number of teams, so therefore the talent is more or less spread out. For the Morabian sides that come down, they're usually restricted to 2, maybe 1 team. So there's a lot of talent that is packed within the Morabian province itself. And of course when Leh takes on Besta, it's bound to be a wonderful game. Scholar, moving on to the points table, you have Hekari on 10. They lead the ladder, more or less expected. In second place, of course, you have Ora FC on 6 points. This is taking into consideration the loss that they had yesterday. Then you have Leh City Dwellers coming up in third. Now after them, another Leh-based side, Besta FC. They bring out number 4, 4th place on 3 points. And then of course you have Madang, Admiralty and FC Port Moresby all languishing towards the lower end of the table, and they all have 2 points each. All in all, Scholar, it is bound to be a cracker of the NSL, the Telikom National Soccer League, round 5.
We head off our final break for tonight. Up next, we have Rugby League and our weekend draws.
Make me want to reapply to school for the hell of it. I'll be the student, you be the teacher. Miss Sophisticated, such a pleasure to meet you. Yeah, but here's the only issue.